You wanted to see everything y'all did well against New England done just a little bit better tonight against Orlando. How would you characterize the performance after the victory?
Not necessarily better in some ways, not necessarily better. We need to do a couple things better, especially on the ball. I feel like we were not sharp. We lost too often the ball in areas where we normally don't lose the ball. And then in the final third, we work a lot on the decision making, and it felt like, again, we could have been a little bit more dangerous in the final third in those transition moments, or when we break them. Then with better decision making, we could have done better. So that we need to watch the film, continue with the process, training, and then trying to improve for the next day. There are a couple of things that we did better, which is the solid defensive lock. I felt that it looked much better, especially defending inside the box. I think we managed to only conceding one clear chance, and that was Angulo's in the last shot he took in the last minute of the game. So I felt that that was an improvement. And then the mentality. I think it was, again, maybe it was more grinding and fighting and competing and never giving up. And the players did well, clean sheet. So some positives, but yes, the reminder that we need to do better.
And just real quick, what happened with Brad there in the second half? He was trying to signal to the team, and then he ended up sitting down on the turf for a bit. What was wrong?
No, I don't know. I don't know in which way he was complaining about a couple of situations when we could have done better. And then he was on the ground in a collision or something, and he started to feel cramps, I think. But other than that, I don't know.
In the back, Henry to Jarrett.
Gonzalo, Thiago seemed to be struggling a little bit throughout the game, a few misplaced passes, decision making. You seemed to pull him over like in the second half during one of the stoppages, and you were giving him instructions. What were some of the things that you were telling him to do, and did you see the change that you wanted to see from him?
Oh, I wouldn't highlight one player, not doing great. I think in general we were not making the right decisions, the right passes, the right movements. Some good plays by Thiago. I mean, honestly, the first half, once he got on the ball, he was very dangerous. It was at the end where he started to feel maybe a little isolated. He had to dribble 3-4 players. We were tight at the end, and not many players committing as forward as we were doing in the first half. So he had options. So he started to dribble too much, and then out of that he started to lose some balls. But I felt that Thiago was okay in the ball. It was the defensive role that I was encouraging him to continue doing, because it was like he wasn't doing, maybe he was trying to do, but he wasn't doing what we needed. So I tried to guide him and give him instructions on what was his role. He was just staying with a 6, and that wasn't his role maybe. So we correct that, but eventually we know Thiago's ability on the ball is impressive, and he will get better.
Jared. Salo made, I think, the most sprints last week for this team, and then tonight a lot of sprinting up and down, even closing down in the defensive end, keeping Orlando from playing that direct ball over the top. I want to get your thoughts on his development, his work defensively, and his work rate.
Yes, I think it was impressive again. I think the game against Columbus, he was impressive. This game was impressive again, both sides of the ball, something he's been working really hard. I have to give him credit there, because he had that objective in preseason to work harder, to be better, to regain more balls. At times last year he was getting close to the opponent, but not really putting pressure on the opponent, and that carries on him not being effective, or he not affecting the opponent. This year he's been way closer, he's been more aggressive, regaining the ball in better areas. The back pressing has been much better, so tactically and mentally he's improving big time on the defensive phase.
Joe, the locker room's open.
Gonzalo, on the first goal that Saba scored, Giakoumakis found himself at the ball in a deeper area and hit that really nice pass. Is that something you've been encouraging him to do more in terms of getting on the ball in some of those build-up phases, or generally do you have a philosophy of how you kind of want him to play in some of these situations, whether playing the ball to his feet and coming deep, or kind of stretching the defense?
Yes, I think the conversations with Jaku is being around of course, his main role is to score goals, right? That's once we're in the final third, his ability to put himself in positions where he can affect the back line, and then his teammates are looking for him all the time, which is a good combination. what I think is the way I rate Gigi is not only for his ability to score goals. We know he will do that even if he closes his eyes. Like he will score goals this year. But the defensive phase, how he's pressing, how he's chasing, how he's starting those defensive actions, and at times he run past some midfielders, wingers to do all that effort. That is massively important for me, and the leadership that he shows in there. And then in our build-up, he's getting more and more passes from his teammates. He's getting more involved, and that helps us just to link the play to go side to side or to go from back to front. But after that, he's sprinting inside the box. So I think that play was amazing. The type of pass, it was pure quality, and he did great. So again, very happy with his overall performance, not just his goal.
Jared City, locker room is open. Coach, I wanted to ask about Tristan on the second half. It seems like, especially as Orlando was trying to go into the game, he was dropping a little bit deeper into the build-up play and connecting things with the rest of the team. Was that just a change to kind of address the way Orlando was trying to deal with things?
No, I think what started to happen is I start to demand a lot from Bartek and Tristan possession. So then when I start to yell at them, hey, we need some possession, is them commanding, relax a little bit, give us some sort of connections in the middle and taking kind of the pull the strings of the possession side. And I think Tristan started to drop, at times too much, but at times he helped us to connect 10, 12 passes on the back and from there on balancing Orlando. I felt like Tristan and Bartek did a great job in terms of covering ground side to side. They had a lot of threats by Orlando, 2 guys in the pocket, 2 guys in the middle. I think Nico Lodeiro was very active, and then Muriel was causing us a lot of issues in that half space in behind Bartek or Saba on our right side, and then on the left side, the winger coming inside started to cause us some issues. So then Bartek and Tristan started to do a lot of work, and at times he's not noticed, but they did great on that. So at times when they are chasing, and then for about 12, 15 passes, and then we regain the ball, and at the second pass we lose the ball, and we continue chasing and pressing. They got desperate a little bit, so they start to look for different ways to affect the possession, and Tristan started to do that, which I don't mind at times.
Last week, you were happy with the fact that your team conceded late. You mentioned that this was an area that this team paid special attention to. Their tendency to it's going to be leaky in the back. I guess how important it was tonight to continue to build that mentality of the team to just hold strong in the later stages of matches.
Yes, I'm very happy. I told that to the players. The clean sheets are super important for us. We need to continue with that habit, especially on the road. That really helps us to get points. And with the attacking-minded players that we have, we should score very often in the games. But if we are able to maintain more often the clean sheet, I think we're gonna get way more points, especially on the road again. So it's about creating the habit of maintaining the clean sheet, because the last time we got that one is I think in August last year, 13, 14 games ago. So it's too long of too many games without a clean sheet. We need to continue with the habit of doing that. But the other thing is today, again, we manage only one high value chance, 0.1 expected goal from Angulo. And it was at the end of the game where too many players were cramping. So, it was good. It looked solid, especially in our lower block. It looked way more solid. So we need to continue that path.
For the subs to come in and try to change maybe the overall tempo of the match?
Well, first of all, we had to solve some tactical issues we were having. As I told you, there were 2 players in the pockets, basically for them, 2 players out wide as wingers, and the 9. So then what was happening is our back 4 was overloaded by 1 player. So then I don't want to change formation too often, especially in the back line, but I felt that it was the right call to go with back 5. So then now Abraham and Estienne, were aggressive in those pockets, and we don't need to drop our wingers in those areas. So now actually our wingers can be more aggressive. So we changed kind of in a 5-2-3 formation. So then what I asked, especially Ajani first, it was a 4-3-3 with Ajani, but then when he came back to a double pivot, him being more aggressive on the double pivot for Orlando, and then Abraham to be aggressive with Estian in those pockets. So now it's just the Caleb and Brooks 1v1 against the winger or the fullback overlapping. So we were more solid. I felt that after that we looked more solid. It was just I had to change Derek because of the cramps, and Estian was cramping, Caleb was cramping. So tactically we're better, but we were a little bit down on the fitness side. So I felt it was the right call, and then I felt like Edwin and Thiago were still very dangerous with Jamal, and again a couple of better decision making in those transition moments, and we could have scored the third goal.